everyone. Welcome. My name is Julie Menders from Otis Library. I'm the Deal Programming Coordinator. I'm here with Pam Days-Luketich, Community Outreach Officer from Liberty Bank. And this is our first video in the series of the Journey to Financial Wellbeing. We are so excited to be starting this series, and Pam is going to tell you a little bit about the first video in our series, and I'm going to hand it over to Pam.
Thank you, Julie. Hello, everybody, and welcome. We're so excited that you decided to take this journey with us. In this program, we are going to give you a series of helpful tips to help you achieve your financial goals. Today, we are going to set the stage. Before we can look to the future, we have to know where we're currently at in the present. And that is what we're going to talk about today. So it's important for us to realize that we have control over our financial futures. Many times we feel like we're at a victim or we're at the hands of a family member or a current situation we're in, but we can control small little steps that will help us get on the journey. So today we're going to talk about the starting point, where we're currently starting out at, and then look to the future as to where we want to end up. We're going to work on getting organized, and we're going to come up with a little bit of a plan. Remember, we're going to take small steps, and small improvements every day can be really helpful. One thing I read today in a book that really touched me a little bit, it said, if you can think of one thing to do today that would be positive improvement, and do that one thing. And then if you can think of one thing that you would want to stop doing today that would help you make a positive improvement, and just do those two things throughout the day, you're making a great progress towards what you want to accomplish in the future. So think of it as just small little steps that we're going to take to get to where we want to eventually end up being. And of course, that's going to be different for all of us, which is a good thing. So the first thing we need to do is review our current situation. We need to get organized, and we have to know where we're at. And that sometimes can be difficult for us because it can feel overwhelming. A lot of us are not organized, and we have papers everywhere, especially when it comes to your finances. You may put some receipts in a desk drawer. You may put things in your closet. You may shred things. You may not ask for a paper copy and have some things on your phone. So, getting organized can be a little bit of a challenge, but once you do, you'll feel really good. And it will be a good point so you can see exactly what you need to do. So, the first thing we're going to look at is if we have any bank accounts or investment accounts. Maybe we worked at a job that at one time had a small retirement fund and we forgot about it. So let's look through and find any bank statements. If you don't have them or aren't sure, you can always contact the bank and see if you do have an old account there, and get all of that information and write it down. I'm a firm believer in writing things down. I'm also a visual person, so it helps me to see everything written down. So if you want to hit pause and get a notepad and a pen, go ahead and do that and start writing, taking some good notes. The next thing that you want to start to look at is your spending. All of us have a lot of different spending habits, and sometimes we will spend things, buy something, and not even remember. And you'll get home from work, and your partner will say, "Oh, did you buy anything today?" You're like, "No, I didn't spend a dime," but you forgot about the coffee you got on the way to work, or the money you contributed towards a coworker's gift. A lot of times, little things we spend money on and don't remember. So if you can spend some time, I mean, ideally a month is really good, to write down everything you spend money on. Your grocery receipts, look at those in detail and see, are you spending a lot of money in one aisle that is having a sale? So you buy a lot of items of the cereal that's on sale that you may not even really like, but because it's on sale, you stocked up. So what are you spending all of your money on? So write all of these things down. Look at old receipts. Look at things that are reoccurring payments. I always do this and forget about it if I'm shopping for, say, a vitamins online. And they say, oh, you can save 15% if you subscribe and get them every month. So I'll say, oh, I want to save 15%, and I'll subscribe. And then I'll end up with 4 jars of the same vitamin in my cabinet because they keep coming in every month and I forget to cancel the subscription. So look and see if you have anything reoccurring, if you're getting things that you don't really need anymore, that at one time maybe you had a baby and were getting a certain type of cracker that the baby liked. Well, now the child is grown and they really don't eat the Cheerios anymore or the saltines, and but you've been buying them and stocking up. So take an evaluation of everything that you're spending your money on every month. Then we want to look at our income. Let's see how much money we are taking in every month. Some of us get paid every week, some biweekly, some monthly. So let's see, record all the money that's coming in. If you get any type of disability payment, Social Security, um, child's care, anything that money is coming in, make a note so that you can see all of the income that you're going to have to work with. Another really important thing for us to look at is our old tax returns. So it is tax season. So make sure that you did file or are planning on filing your taxes. And just a little plug, if you haven't filed in the past or aren't sure where to go, VITA is a free tax service that is so helpful. They're all IRS trained professionals that will help you, volunteers that work for VITA that are trained by professionals. And you can go to 211 in the state of Connecticut, dial 211, and they will tell you the closest site. But keep your tax returns all in a safe spot because you'll need them if you go to make any major financial purchases. If one of your goals is going to be to purchase a home, you're going to need at least 3 years of tax returns to qualify for certain programs. So keep those all in a safe spot and find them. Um, do you have any outstanding debts? Do we have any credit card bills? Any loans that are outstanding? Let's take a look at those. Probably if I asked all of you, what's the interest rate on your credit card? You would probably have to think about it and maybe look it up. We never think to remember that and know it off the top of our head, but it's a really important thing to know. I was talking with a woman the other day who said she went to McDonald's to get her son an ice cream cone and went and you paid for it with her credit card and then realized she was financing $1.25 on her credit card, paying 22% interest for an ice cream cone, right? So we need to realize what those interest rates are because there may be better ones out there or better opportunities. So write down a list of any outstanding debt that you have and what interest rate it's at and how long before you can pay it off, because this will help us the next session when we talk about our future plans. And the other thing is just to look at our retirement accounts and Social Security. If you go to ssa.gov, you can see how much Social Security you're going to be eligible for, or you may be currently eligible for, and maybe those funds could help you out. A couple other things we want to look at. Do we have any money set aside for an emergency savings? If you don't, that's okay. That can be one of our goals for this year. But let's make note if you do. Do you have any insurance? So if you have renter's insurance, homeowner's insurance, auto insurance, all of these things will help you if there is an emergency. but it'll also help you in your planning for future purchases. Do you have a will or health directives? Those are things that are really important to have. If you do find them, put them in a safe spot. Direct deposit can be very helpful. Maybe you don't currently have that, but in case you have to ever relocate due to an emergency, you would be able to still get your pay checks deposited into your account. Having access to your funds, look and see if you have access through online or mobile banking. Make a note of that. And what other access to finance, if you have any access to other financial resources. Let's write all of that down in our big plan. So, as you can see, I've just told you a lot of things you have to look into, research, write down, organize, and it might feel a little bit overwhelming, but remember, you don't have to all do all of this in one night. You can do a little piece every day, maybe every weekend, whatever best fits your schedule, and start to really see where you're at. Once you find all of these important papers and documents, you can get a nice file and label it and keep everything organized there. If you have a fireproof file cabinet, you could put them in there. If you have a safe deposit box at a bank, you might want to put some in there. But just keep all your important documents in one spot. And that way, when in the event that there is an emergency, you'll be able to grab everything. All right. So the next thing we're going to talk about is your homework. So for this session, we talked about getting organized and looking for all of your current expenses and your income. So I want you to go through all of that, track your expenses, organize your important papers, and then look at things and make a note of any patterns you see. We all have spending habits that we might not even realize. So, on a day that I've been had a bad day at work, I tend to do some online shopping when I get home. It makes me feel better. And then I think, oh, I just made that connection. I'm shopping to, kind of relieve my stress and get myself a little treat. But I could be spending too much money doing that. Maybe it'd be better if I went for a walk. So, if we can start looking at little habits that you have, maybe you're stopping and getting coffee on your way into work because you've always done it. But if after you look at it, you may say, I can just as easily get a coffee when I get into my job or make one at home. So make notes of any patterns you see, shopping patterns, spending. If you tend to spend a lot on Amazon, maybe you're going to have to put a little control on that account so that you can't just keep clicking on your phone. So make note of all the patterns you see. And then next week, when we get together for our next video, we're going to take a look at all of these things, come up with a plan for your spending and maybe ways to increase your income. And then we're going to look at what goals you want to achieve for the next year and start to put those things in place.
Thank you, Pam. That was brilliant and so helpful. Pam and Liberty Bank have been hosting informational sessions like these for us, both in person and on Zoom for years, and it never ceases to amaze me. I learn something new every time she visits with us. So thank you so much, Pam.
You're welcome.
I did want to mention, if you would like to continue your education, during these sessions or even after they end, I would encourage you to visit the Otis Library and take a look at our collection. We have a huge collection of books on personal finance, on retirement, and on savings and getting out of debt. So it would be one extra step to educating yourself and helping yourself in your financial goals. Two books I wanted to mention today that are great for when you're getting started on this whole process of looking at your personal finances. We have a book by Tiffany Alicia. She is called The Budgetnista, and the book is called Get Good with Money, 10 Simple Steps to Becoming Financially Whole. This book is available to borrow at the library. And the other one that we have is called Simple Money, a no-nonsense guide to personal finance by Tim Moore. This is another book, one of many that we have available. So I would encourage you to stop by the library and take a look and see what we have. And Pam, can you remind us again what the next session will be on?
So the next session is going to be on budgeting and goal setting.
Excellent, excellent. That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Pam, and thank you, everyone. Again, I'm Julie Menders from Otis Library and Pam Days-Luketich from Liberty Bank, and we're so glad that you joined us today. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.